first order of business is the consent agenda.
You said 437?
Yes, it's the,
I'm sorry.
it's fine. The consent agenda, which includes the approval of the agenda and approval of the December 10th, 2025 meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve.
I will second.
Second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, the same sign. Ayes have it, motion carries. Ready to engage from the public?
No.
I don't see one here for public comment. We'll move down to old business, which includes capital needs discussion.
I don't have anything, any updates on any of it. I mean, we're still waiting for word on the electronic access that's supposed to be replaced. I don't know where we are in the roof project that never ended. They haven't made, there's been no updates on the sewer line that they were going to extend. I think is that it? As far as ongoing repair handling, did that get resolved? Yes, that is resolved. Now, on a permanent basis, I don't know, but, or semi-permanent, I don't know, but it is resolved for the time being. I think, you know, as we think about capital needs, the one thing that keeps, two things that stick out in my mind, these are city responsibilities per our contract, but there's no timeline on them. It's carpeting upstairs in the meeting rooms and the sort of atrium, all the lenses are gone. Look above the stairwell, and it's just you know, a hole in the ceiling, essentially.
Oh.
So, you know, I lobbied the last city manager about that a bit and didn't really get anywhere. About the carpet, most specifically. That's a area.
But that's in our contract with them?
So our contract says floor coverings and wall coverings are their responsibility. Now, the exception, I would say, there's been times we paid for paint because it was cosmetic, we just wanted it, you know, but I think if you go out, especially in the children's area, and look at the carpet, it's pretty rough shape.
Yeah,
So,
it's showing its wear and tear.
I mean, 27 years. I have that.
To what degree have you had communication with the interim city manager?
The interim CFO said he was going to arrange a meeting with the three of us, and that hasn't happened yet. So that reminds me, I'll reach back out to Greg and see if we want to talk about some financial things.
Is there anything else under old business that we'd like to discuss? Well, capital needs, but I guess not other.
Have you heard anything about when they're going to get the EV stations functioning?
I've not heard anything about the EV
Oh, they're not
stations
functioning?
at all.
And people are parking in there anyway, so it's.
I have no idea if they're.
There's no sign saying you can't park there.
Exactly,
I need you to hear exactly what I'm saying. I haven't heard anything about the EV stations.
Okay.
Okay? No one told me they were being installed. No one gave me any updates on the installation.
Yeah.
No one has said anything to me
Yeah.
about the EV stations.
Yeah.
They appear to be done. They haven't worked, they
Yeah.
appear to be done.
Yeah. I've just noticed people just are parking in there anyway, so I'm, you know.
I mean, you know, if they want people to use them, we could have kind of helped with the communication.
Yeah.
But nobody is, literally, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to this, the day we saw them, all the trucks out there, I texted Mike Pritchett, who's the facilities manager at the City of Decatur, and he didn't know what was going on. He went and saw whose trucks they were, called them, and they told him what was going on.
I mean, it's city versus park district, but the park district is installed some there in a some into Fairview and they're not operating either, but they're done and haven't been installed for at least a couple of weeks now, but I went on one of my walks and looked at them and pressed the screeners and there's nothing, nothing this one.
Yes, and that may be what's going on here too. I don't know. And nobody's really asking Sam about it.
I just think it's hilarious, people are parking in those spots anyway, so.
There's a big truck right there, in there right now.
There is.
Is it you?
It's protesting.
I thought about it. I really thought about it tonight.
I know where I was surprised, I was like, you know what? They are operation. What's the,
I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, because they're prime parking spots, people are gonna use them.
They have food shows.
Yeah, had they asked, if they communicated that, is we would have expressed the desire to move them further away. I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
I don't know how.
So
long it
people can
takes to-
actually use them if they
Right.
show up and
Right.
people, and I read pictures.
I mean, I'm glad they're there.
I really appreciate the idea of them, I really do, you know, but,
Yeah.
like I said, I just think it's funny people just park there anyway.
Well, we will move down to new business. First order of business is the December 25th check register vendor report.
We don't have the vendor report. We're still having some technical difficulties. We've had trouble taking it in for a while. We're still having difficulties even getting the check register, but that we think we have resolved. So no vendor report.
I do have a question,
Sure.
actually, a couple of questions. Because I can't remember, and I'm totally gonna botch this name. Goss, Lugosi?
I think so.
Wow, that was really
That's our
close.
service agreement for our automated return system.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so what that gets us is a checkup every year and a reduced price on service calls. It's more than a checkup, they come and tune everything up once a year. Which is still a crazy cost, but they initially, we were paying like $17,000 a year. And I finally figured out what we didn't need.
another one I had was the EBSCO Outlook price adjustment. What was that? It's on the second page, kind of in the middle.
I don't know what that outlook price adjustment is. You know?
I'm wondering if it's because they dropped our subscription to Novelist Plus, and once we realized they
that's it.
dropped it,
That is
they
it.
did
That
it
is
pro
it,
forma.
yes. Yep, so we had, there's a database that we use called Novelist Plus, and they, for some reason, dropped us down to regular Novelist, and we let them know that we still want Novelist Plus. So, I'm gonna double check that, but I'm assuming that's what that is.
Right about that, Dynagraphics, the EOY Foundation letter, envelopes reply, is that what?
That's paid for by the foundation, so they
Oh, okay. Was
reimburse,
that
they
the
reimburse us for
fundraising?
that. That's how, yeah, they.
That's what I
Dynagraphics
kind of
handles
thought,
that.
that was probably, I got my letter.
Yes, and they've already, I think it's right around 12,000 they've raised so far.
Oh, wow,
So,
that's wonderful.
It's been pretty good so far this year.
I have, okay, what is Polk City
That was gonna be
Directories?
my other question too.
And why do we care about
Yeah,
Polk
Polk
City?
City.
There's city directories, and I think Polk is the
Oh.
Oh, so it's not Polk City, it's
Okay.
Polk
Got it.
City Directories.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay, and so there's
Gotcha.
one for the library, because there was like two of them, and then one for Becky.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
that's right.
that's what I figured.
okay.
I
I
was
was like,
like,
what is Polk City?
Polk is,
Yeah.
Polk is R.L. Polk and Company, they're the publisher.
you need to learn how to divide her.
They need a comma.
Yeah. We had 3 checks to Jessica Hill Consulting. December 11.
Yeah, I think it's just how it
How it fell.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of figured, that there was
And
some
we're
catch up or
and
something
we're
like that.
reimbursed for all those from Macon County Mental Health Board.
I know that been fluctuating fluctuates.
Well, she had been, I think part of the issue was she had been out for medical reasons for a good while and hadn't gotten us a lot of what we need to get her paid. She was working from home. And you can see that there were, the sizes of the checks were various.
Yeah.
Because she didn't work as much.
I didn't know if she was just increasing her hours or.
No, quite the opposite. She was,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
And that it was a matter of catch-up, because I know it gets a
Correct.
little irregular.
yes.
On the last page of it, Midwest Tape LLC, blanket AV and streaming services, but
Yep.
it's 00 books. But there's a check.
Yeah, I think you'll find that that is probably the same check number as, yes, on the previous page. And that's just the way it's broken up for some reason without seeing the actual check.
I just was wondering if.
I don't know why the invoice would be split up in that way. That doesn't really make sense to me. I'd have to pull up this is the, you know what? I didn't bring the invoices this time because I reviewed this and went, I think this is all pretty, I think I can explain all this pretty
Hey,
well.
you're pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, oh, I wouldn't remember all those, I got it.
But yeah, it's the same check number as the one on the page beforehand.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know why the invoice would be split up in such a way that there would be zero on something. So
Yeah.
I'll look at that invoice.
Yeah, it just made. Wow. I don't have any questions. That's all I have.
So I will motion to approve the check register.
Second. First and second, any discussion? These are financial based items, so we will do a voice vote. So Amy,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
So aye. 4 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries. Move down to the December 25 actuals discussion.
So, the weirdest thing happened. We came out all right.
I was gonna ask about that, that's a
Yeah.
nice, almost 100%.
Yeah, and what I don't have is the long version, because I could grab if you could bear with me a second, I can grab a thumb drive that, really quick, that has the longer, the more detailed version of this on it, and I can show you kind of what the perfect storm was about, or I can just explain it to you.
You can just explain.
So we had a lot of, and I didn't know how much, we had a lot of outstanding money owed to us from Foundation and Friends, which we collected most of. Okay, so in my projections, I wasn't accounting for that. We came out, so a couple of things here, that between Friends and the Foundation, they paid us somewhere in the neighborhood of $80,000 the last 2 months of the year. So that's, and then these numbers are rough, but you'll get the exact figures. But so the grant out line, the grant expense line, ended the year at about $180,000, and the grant revenue line was at about $230,000. And that also has to do with 2024. So there was some stuff that we collected from 2024 early in 2025. So that was one thing. Well, then PPRT, our December disbursement was about $30,000 more than I expected.
No complaints there?
No complaints there. And then losing our book vendor prevented us from spending all of our book budget.
Well, not
So
exactly
it's
happy news, but. you know.
but the revenue side didn't come in as bad as we thought. I mean, 99.4% is much better than I've been predicting all year.
Yeah.
So those were the main factors on the revenue side. Personnel came in. There's always turnover. It usually comes around 98 to 99% of what we budget. Sometimes as low as 97%. But if you look at library materials, 96% of the budget. And that's a fairly big line. So, staff development, I do want to ask, just as not an official, I'm looking at, so last year we skipped the American Library Association conference because we saw revenue's not coming in. And it was in, where was it? Philadelphia. It was in Philadelphia. So we thought that's a lot of expense. And ALA is, sir, the American Library Association conference is for academic libraries, public libraries, school libraries. It's not our favorite conference anyway. Every other year, so that being this year, in a couple months, is the Public Library Association conference. That's in Minneapolis. Where our target was to send 4 people. One of those people has left the library. So at 3 people, I'm assuming the cost would be, I'm estimating the cost would be between $5,000 and $7,000. Now, given our 2026 budget, I know you don't have it in front of you, but it's a deficit budget. How do we feel about that? We have budgeted the budget you guys approved was $20,000 for travel and conferences. So it's in April, early April. Just as a sort of a straw poll, how do you guys feel about us sending 3 people
I like
to?
people going to professional conferences. You never know what you're going to find out, the connections you make. I like professional development.
I think especially with you saying it's not the ALA one.
This is the public
This is
library
specific for
association.
public libraries. I think that's more important. I think if it was the other one, we'd be having a different discussion. And I don't think unless times are very, very, very desperate, you should cut staff development because that's going to bite you down the road, in my opinion.
Tell Alexis and we'll go ahead and move forward.
Yeah.
Focus content, it's relatively local, and it's not a huge headcount, you're not taking 45 people, you're taking 3.
Yeah, yeah,
So as long as there's no objection to it, we'll go ahead and get that book.
It keeps your sense of community between the public libraries going. It really does.
Tell them no tuition assistance next year.
So again, we did,
But keep
skip,
developing other
we
ones.
skipped ALA and that helped us. Also, back to revenue, and this is something we knew all year, but I just want to re-emphasize. Almost $40,000 from the sale of furniture. So,
Take it.
Yeah.
we
Everybody
did all right there.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice little addition.
So, our cash balance in operating fund, as of January 1 was $1.5 million, basically. The deficit was $345,000. Well, $350,000 of that was moving money from the operating fund to the capital fund. So that is, depending on how you look at it, it's, yes, we knew we were going to use reserve funds to finish the furniture project. So, there's, in one sense, we ended the year doing good. Capital fund now has $22,225 in it. Cantoni, $5,935. Meyer fund, $31,901. Memorials and donations, $12,659 for a final cash position of $1,592,733. So, that is quite a dip from the $2,107,000 we opened last year with. But, as I was talking to Jordan about before the meeting, when I wrote this report, the books aren't closed yet. So this will be tweaked slightly for when I give you guys the annual reports in February.
you last year, and I'm always optimistic at the beginning of every year.
I'm happy for you. Because we're unfortunate days in, and I'm feeling pretty down, if I'm being honest.
I've got where you are. I'm searching for that optimism.
Yeah.
In a lot of
Always
areas.
the optimist, yeah.
But, you know, this is a lot better than I was thinking. Sometimes when this happens, I think that, I am naturally a pessimist when it comes to the budget, and I do try to prepare you guys for the worst. But, I mean, it was an honest assessment. I really
Yeah.
thought we were gonna come out in a much worse place.
Well, I think that's why I'm kind of optimistic, is that we made it through 2025. Hopefully not.
Got 12 months. That's what I tell my
Yeah,
commercial.
I was invited to a meeting with the Secretary of State last week, and the upshot seemed to indicate that we might be eligible for, and Carl's heard this, an equalization aid grant this year for the first time ever.
What's that?
But spoiler alert, we're not.
Oh,
Oh,
I have no idea. I'm trying to figure out why I was invited to the meeting, because the list of people who are going to get it was published in November. We're not on the list. So I had a couple of days of optimism myself.
well, I'm ready to be squelched,
Yeah,
but.
but it was so the equalization aid grant is aimed at libraries that don't get enough local support. Okay. I didn't know. I've since looked it up. At the time, I didn't know what the exact parameters were, but we've been on the. I'm on the Illinois State Library Advisory Committee, and the committee's been pushing. The secretary to lobby the legislature to change the parameters, because only 7 libraries in Illinois qualified for this grant last year, and that's been that way for the last several years. So they did. They changed the parameters, but the parameters were $7.50 per capita. They moved them to $17.50 per capita. So if you have, if you're less than $17.50, you are eligible for this equalization aid grant. We get about $42, $41 per capita.
oh, wow.
And you guys may remember, those of you who were on the board last summer, that's really low compared to other urban and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
central
That's why I'm
libraries.
surprised to hear that the grant is so low compared.
Yeah, so there's, now, that did move it from 7 libraries to about 107 libraries that are eligible this year, and that's a great thing, but we're not one of them. So I was excited for a couple of
The
things.
only 2 that I recognize in the list off the door were Cairo and St. Louis.
Yeah, those were the old eligible, but this year they did publish in November. They published it. The people who are now eligible for this grant, and we're not on the list, but if you do the math, it's pretty clear that we're not even close to being on it. So.
And it seems like there's a lot of, like, in St. Louis, they definitely need the help. I'm kind of wondering if some of them now are on the list. See, and this is my little suspicious mind going into that. It's kind of like, well, that kind of sounds like a you problem.
I never know.
If you're not supporting your libraries.
Yeah, it's a state,
Do
it's a state
something about
stepping,
it,
it's a state
yeah.
stepping in where local
Yeah.
governments are not, and I know
They need to
Carol's
step up.
Carol's a ghost town.
Oh, it is. It is. It's
And,
actually, they have really,
Yeah, and it's very sad, and I know the director down there, she's terrific, but.
yeah, well, they got lots of issues. Property values are so low. So,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, and that's probably a big
And
part
those
of
are the
it.
communities I love to see being helped.
Yeah,
I just kind
they
of wonder if
can't,
it's up to 107.
I don't know that there's much that they could do locally, you know, because I think that you're right, that the property values are.
They are
really,
coming
really
back.
high. Well, I hope so. You got it's a very historic city.
Yeah, yeah, I'm so glad to see it.
Not always in a good way, but it is a very historic city.
Well, there's no other action discussion we have, we'll move down to the 2026 meeting schedule, action items. The list is included in your packets. So we have
It's good
the,
to me.
I even put them on the calendar, right? I'm pretty
I
proud of
do
myself.
too.
So, I'm motion to approve those meetings. Is that what we have to do?
Bruce? Is there a second?
Oh, I'll second it.
First and second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All ayes have it.
And that is final action, this doesn't have to go to the local.
Looks good to me.
Yes.
We have a agenda item under financial policies discussion.
Yeah, so we talked about, one of the things that is it's in the newly published standards for Illinois Public Libraries. Can you Google that and pull it up real quick? It's just do ILA standards for Illinois Public Libraries. Is one of the they're not requirements, but one of the goals for Illinois Public Libraries is to have financial policies. We don't have a single financial policy. So before I begin to, so they do have some things to do. So they have some examples. Finance policy, a staff reimbursement policy, an investment policy. City does that for us. Internal controls, capital asset, gifts and donations. You guys kind of just already do that. But fiscal accountability. I would like to know. We do have a credit card policy, but I'd like to know, or just begin the discussion at least on what kind of policies that we think are necessary for the library. And you know, we've got two financial people here in the room. I mean, some of the things I see, you know, on other boards I've served on and stuff, were like, you know, how much of a cash reserve we should have, and it's usually couched in terms of operating costs for X number of months or something.
Yeah.
But I would like to hear from you guys what financial policies you think we would be, before I work on them and bring them to you, what
Well,
we should have.
Here's my question, comment, concern. I agree. We should have financial policies. Great. Putting some of these financial policies, like having a certain amount of funds and things like that, can lead us into more strict positions in the future.
Very true.
So I think we do need to tread lightly in some areas because of that. Are we prepared to take a heavy stance, a black and white stance on some areas? Just my fair warning. Should we? Probably, but.
We should. I'm curious what kind of overlap, because we have a fiscal agent through the city. We don't manage a lot of our own funds. So some of these would be incredibly redundant, and we would have to maintain them in alignment with the city, because they're the ones who are doing these things. So, you know, outstanding check policy. You don't write your own check, someone else writes your check.
Correct.
Someone else tells you how old they are, someone else is managing those funds. So some of these are purely going to be redundant, and therefore probably don't need to be established. Reimbursement policy is not a bad one, because we can set different requirements. There should probably still be some internal control framework. I know the city does a lot of that for us. I mean,
credit card use policy,
We have that.
We have
That's
that.
yeah, so like those ones, make sure that, like, is that from the city or from us?
That's ours.
Do we review that or just PPR? Okay,
No, PPR always.
I was like, I've never seen it.
PPR always.
Capital
So,
asset policy, we do own capital assets. I think normally those would govern the use of capital assets, the allowance for employees to utilize them or not utilize them for purposes that aren't directly tied to the library. We can make that very clear. If there's a library ever purchase a vehicle, you can't just go borrow it to move your friend from apartments.
I would be curious, I wanna do some research on this. I'd be curious what they outline in their funds policy, their fund balance policy, and their finance policy. Those three are very vague
Yeah.
terms, so,
Very curious about funds policy. Our fund balance policy at the college would determine, like, we have thresholds that we are required to maintain or recommended that we maintain a certain fund balance for various funds and measured in months of anticipated expenditures based off the annual budget. So again, that's where we can get into a situation where we tell you you need to maintain 6 months of expenses and we get to, what is that, June, July, when property taxes haven't started showing up yet, and you go, I'm not allowed to pay anyone right now because we have to maintain a certain amount of money
yeah.
in the bank account. That can become problematic, especially when we're running multiple years of debt.
This is available to anybody.
Yeah, I wrote it down, so I wanna look at these. I do think we should establish policies, I think we should do that as a item in 2026, but can we take a little bit of time to do some
Of course,
research?
we don't have, this is not a timeline, I just wanted to
Yeah,
start the, I just
but I
wanted to
agree, I
start
do
the
think we should
discussion.
establish some, but don't do anything crazy
Yeah.
on your own and like spend a bunch of time, and then bring it to us and we say, what is that?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk to you guys first.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I like policies that are general. I hate policies that within 6 months you find out that, just like you were talking about, we can't maintain them.
yeah.
So that we end up having to go back in and
Well, and there's a fine line because
amend the policy. So,
sometimes the policy is established so you can't amend things.
yeah.
So what is,
And I also think it's well taken is that some of them would be redundant because the city has financial
Yes.
policies and they are just, let me tell you what, we don't have a bank account. The Decatur Public Library does not have a bank account.
yeah, we just have, like, everything goes into one account.
we have a fund balance.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's purely accounting existential
Yeah.
thing. Right. Something else I'd be interested in is if there's any, as a college, we often refer to our governing statutes. Say, we will do things in accordance with statute. And then if that statute is amended, we don't have to change the policy because it references the statute. So if there's any of those where we're just purely compliance-based, have to do things a certain way because the government says so, if we can reference those, then we don't have to come up with whole new legal jargon. We can just let
Cut and paste and just.
Yeah.
put
let
it
Springfield
together.
determine things because they're going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Which is the gift policy is statute. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
we literally, we adopt every few years, you'll do it tomorrow, we adopt Illinois statute. We don't like we have a choice, but,
Yeah.
but we just make it formal, hey, this law is our policy.
Yeah.
So,
Revisit next month. I'll have it under research by then.
very good. And I'll look into some of these.
Yeah.
Well, all right, something else on our agenda, is the motion to adjourn. So moved. First,
I'll second.
and second, any discussion on such? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah, aye. All right, sure, I have notification, we adjourn.